Hello and welcome to Bri's Book and Film. I've recently read a book that Mrs. Grills bought for me, and it is Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, written way back when. Now this is a really good story. Robinson Crusoe leaves home against his father's wishes and goes to sea and encounters various misadventures along the way. Some might say it's enough to make you run home with your tail between your legs. It's got a long, lengthy introduction, written by, it's quite a lengthy introduction, if I may say so, written by Doreen Roberts from the University of Kent at Canterbury. It's quite a few pages long in the introduction, and it starts with a bibliography. As you go through, it's got various notes. It's written in this version is in the old-timey version of speaking. I was born in the year of 1632 in the city of York, of a good family, though not of that country, my father being a foreigner of Bremen, who first settled at Hull. He got a good estate by merchandise, and leaving off his trade, lived afterward at York, from whence he married my mother, whose relations were named Robinson, a very good family in that country, and from whom I was called Robinson Crusoe. But by the usual corruption of words in England, we are now called, nay, we call ourselves and write our name Crusoe, and so my companions always called me. So that's the sort of language of the book, the way it's written. Don't let that put you off though, because Robinson Crusoe is a genuinely spellbinding story. It's considered to be sort of one of the first novels, excuse me, if not the first. So he goes off to sea from Hull, and on his way south, misadventure happens, which some might say is the seafaring life for me. But no, he then goes on another sailing trip, ends up on the coast of Africa. Now I can't, there's going to be spoilers, because for a book that was published from its first publication in 1719, Robinson Crusoe has been printed in over 700 editions. It has inspired almost every conceivable kind of imitation and variation, and been the subject of plays, operas, cartoons and computer games. The character of Crusoe has entered the consciousness of each succeeding generations, as readers add their own interpretation of the adventures so thrillingly recorded by Defoe. Praised by eminent figures such as Coleridge, Rousseau and Wordsworth, this perennially popular book was cited by Karl Marx in Das Kapital to illustrate economic theory. However, it is readers of all ages over the last 3 centuries who have given Robinson Crusoe its abiding position as a classic tale of adventure. So he goes off to sea. He ends up off the coast of Africa. He's taken as a slave. He's enslaved for a couple of years. Then he manages to escape with another young slave called Zuri, and they escape coast of Africa, various misadventures along there, and he ends up going to Brazil, making his way to Brazil with a Portuguese captain. And in Brazil he sort of settles down a little bit and starts a plantation, but then they decide they need slaves. Slaves, you had to ruin it a bit there, didn't you? So on their way with other plantation owners to go back to Africa to get the slaves, shipwreck. He's the only one that survives, washed up on a desert island, with nothing but what he was sort of stood up in. Excuse me. And he sort of makes trips. The ship where it's crashed just offshore, he runs back, he sails back, and he gets supplies and he gets bits and pieces, and he builds a life for himself on this desert island. He builds a life. Eventually, after many years, he finds other people, the savages from the mainland, visiting the island to perform human sacrifice, etc. And he decides he's going to attack this problem head on, and in order to escape excuse me, in order to escape, he frees one of the potential victims of savages, a native man, and because he's rescued him on a Friday, he calls him Friday. It's his man Friday. Where's my man Friday? So his name isn't actually Man Friday, but it's his man Friday. He takes him into his care. Friday swears loyalty to Robinson Crusoe forever and ever and ever. And eventually such time comes. Well, actually, before that, quite a gripping part of the story is Robinson Crusoe decides he's going to make a canoe and sail, and that's quite an exciting time, because you wonder if he's actually going to make it back to the deserted island, which is said to be in the Caribbean there somewhere. And spoilers, it's a 300-year-old book. He does make it back, but you know, then he rescues Friday. Then eventually, after many years, another ship washes up, and there's a ship, and it's had a mutiny, and the mutineers are going to leave the captain on this desert island and take the ship, and Robinson Crusoe and Friday decide that they're going to put a stop to this, and then they, you know, it sort of all comes good. It does feel a little bit, I know it's the first novel of, you know, and the rest of it, and it's a really good story, but excuse me, it does seem to have a very and they all lived happily ever after kind of vibe at the end. And they all lived happily ever after. Well, I don't know, it seems a bit rushed at the end for me. He does chronicle his capturing of turtles to eat and eat their eggs. His tale of survival, his tale of loneliness, desolation. You know, it's all there. How he loses his faith in God, and then how he starts to realise that he's actually been delivered by God to this desert island where he can eat turtles and turtles' eggs and stuff, and he can survive. So he sort of changes his mindset a little bit from, well, you know, surely God knows where I am, to, well, God does know where I am, which is why he's put me here. So we've got these themes of losing your faith, loneliness, desolation, you know, survival, and you know, how he protects himself, fortifies his new home, and you know, so there's a lot of different themes running through the book. He does, when he captures Friday and takes Friday into his care, one part that does sort of irritate me a little bit, and it did irritate me through the book, was Crusoe deciding that he's gonna denigrate Friday's God and call him a cheat, basically. Your God's no good, you've got to believe in this God. It's a classic God Squad move of, my God is right and your God is wrong, so if you don't believe in what I believe in, you're rubbish. That sort of irritated me a bit as I was reading it, but I moved past it. But books is books, reading is reading. I do prefer books with actual pages. Yes, you can read it on a Kindle or some other electronic device. That's not my preferred medium. My preferred medium is an actual book with pages. Now, because this was a new book bought for me by Mrs. Grills, it's just a new book smell. Some books, older books, they've got the pages, you know, you get your nose in there and you can smell, the smell tells you a story. So Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, a couple of 300 years old now. So I will be giving this book 4 coffee cups on the coffee cup scale. I think that's what I'll do. 4 hot coffee cups on the coffee cup scale. Buy it, read it, enjoy it. If you've read it, then feel free to comment in the box below. There's a box for that. If you haven't read it and you want to read it, then feel free. Just comment or don't comment, or do what you want to do, really. It's entirely up to you. I've read it. I've enjoyed it. You know, Mrs. Grills did buy me some other books as well to be going on with. So I shall be reading those in due course. So Robinson Crusoe, Daniel Defoe. I enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.